god, we can totally make one of these.
I don't even think I'm enjoying this.
No, I like it.
And we did, and it's fantastic.
I adore this game. It is perfect.
The following is brought to you by loudspeak.com.
Episode 191 of the ChairShot Podcast is here, ladies and gentlemen. Through all the turmoil, through all the twists and turns, through hellfire and brimstone, we're fighting to bring you this show. We're fighting against technology. Have you ever noticed, listeners, how the more advanced technology becomes, the more annoyed and disappointed humanity becomes with technology and how little it seems to cooperate? Here's the next innovation I want for things on the internet. How about they all work? How about that one? And that also applies to video games and video game consoles. Instead of making them bigger, make the ones work that you currently have.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
good idea.
I'm Barry Murphy, one of your hosts here, speaking to you via new super fast internet that I got this week.
Woo!
I haven't done anything with it other than download about 6 gigabyte worth of patches for games on said games consoles, but that's another issue. With me, as always, my ever dependable co-host. First of all, Mr. Joe Towner.
Hi there, Barry. How's it going?
It's not going too bad, mate. It's not going too bad.
Oh,
And
you are back to college soon, or?
I am actually. It's funny you
Oh,
mentioned that. I am going back to college soon. 2 more days, mate. 2 more days of lazing around the house.
When you're learning and then having a bloody good party and all that. And,
Probably, mate. Probably.
Good.
I'll tell you what. A few more days of sleeping in, and then a few days of sleeping in instead of going to class. So,
excellent.
so that's good. And also with us here, as I scoff some Aldi white chocolate, is Mr. Paul Griffin.
Joe,
Hi, Paul.
what's the matter with you?
Oh,
wait a
nothing.
minute.
I'm fine.
Oh, good. Right, let's move it on.
Oh, listeners, the
Do
things
you,
we do for you.
Do you watch any films this week, Paul?
I did, Joe. I watched
Okay.
Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope,
Sounds good.
Ooh.
and no other movies.
What happens in that then?
Oh, I don't remember.
Ah.
Yeah.
Is that the one where Warwick
Forgetful.
Davis plays a little monkey?
I think it might be. I'm not sure if that's racist or...
How is that what?
I don't-
The
Sorry,
Ewoks look like
racist
monkeys.
against who? Racist against the Ewoks.
They're kind of a race, I guess.
They're not!
Well, if you...
They're a
if you- if you-
species!
Maybe they're not. Maybe there's a lot of little bear
Oh, what, they're
things
humanoids,
on
are they?
Endor.
If you've
And
been
he-
offended by anything you've heard on this week's edition of the ChairShot Podcast, you can contact
Call
Chris
our
Blake
helpline.
at gtpod@piltopedia.co.uk. In fact, be sure, if you are annoyed, to send him like 6 emails at once.
I thought you were going to say if
I
you
bet,
were-
I bet he hasn't checked that email address in years.
I thought you were going to say if you were annoyed, email chrisblake at chrisblake.chingchong.jp or something.
See, that is racist. That is racist.
Yeah.
That is his address, though.
Not as racist as playing JK or C or whatever it was in the IRC the other day. Ridiculous. Anyway.
No, I did watch Rise of the Planet of the Apes with James
Really?
Franco.
Who stars in that, Paul?
James Franco was in it as a scientist.
What?
Look at all my
Franco.
monkey shit!
Okay, so this first 3 minutes has just been us amusing ourselves based on things we said in the previous recording, which we ditched. Okay, so this is where we got on the previous one. Tell me about Attack of the Planet of the Rise of the Apes.
It's really good. It's much better than I thought it was going to be, and it was much better than it had any right to be, really. Yeah, James Franco was in it, as we said, as a scientist. So he had a lab coat on, and he was looking serious. I couldn't get James Franco from This Is the End out of my head, though. Now when I see him, I'll invariably think of him as that character.
Yeah.
But But yeah, Draco Malfoy from Lord of the from Lord of the Rings, from that other one, the wizard one.
Yeah.
He's in. I don't know the actor's real name. He's in it as well with an American voice. So Harry Potter done a magic on him to change his voice probably. And
or was it Gandalf?
Monkey, you shall not pass. Harry Potter.
Malfoy. Wait, no, that's not Gandalf.
10 points to Gryffindor.
You're a wizard, Frodo.
I'm a what? but I'm just Frodo. Well, just Frodo. Get on me motorbike and let's fly through the skies. I think that's how those films go. Anyway, Planet of the Apes, which is the one I actually watched, had didn't star Gandalf or Frodo or
Robbie Coltrane.
It started the kid who played Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter. I don't know the actor's name. Tom something, I think it is.
Oh, Tom. Oh, fuck. Felton, isn't it?
Felton?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Also starring John Lithgow,
Yep.
Okay.
who was probably the best humanoid in the movie.
Yep.
I'm not gonna.
Outshined by a couple of monkeys and a telephone post.
And it might have starred. Who else was in it? I'm tempted to say Frida Pinto was in it because I'm not sure if that's her name.
Yeah, Frida Pinto is.
Or I think it was her that was in it. I've not checked this, but it looked and sounded like her. So to be confirmed. But yeah, all the humans in it are very one-dimensional, and the acting's not particularly good by anybody. But John Lithgow's fine. He plays a sort of Alzheimer's ridden old man. He plays like James Franco's father in it, which is sort of his reason for the testing they do on these monkeys. They're trying to find a cure for Alzheimer's and for all these other neurological diseases. And so yeah, it's actually Joe was joking about it, but it is the apes that do overshadow all the humans. Andy Serkis, who calling back to Lord of the Rings a second ago, he did Gollum in Lord of the Rings, and he did King Kong in that other Planet of the Apes movie, Planet of the Big One Ape. He does the main monkey in this movie. Ape, not monkey. And he's really good.
He's forever getting typecast, isn't he?
Rise of the Planet of the Monkeys.
Hello, Andy. Yes, we're interested in offering you a role in this movie. Oh, good. Is it a fucking CGI thing again, or will I actually be in the thing? I caught you on a bad day, Andy. Yeah, you did catch me on a bad day. Don't call me back.
So he's excellent. That's the best performance in the movie. Is him as the main chimp, but. That leads into an interesting discussion about whether something like that can be considered a performance, given how much of it is then created after the performance in a way.
Yeah.
Like everything is CGI. He doesn't speak, but like it is Andy Serkis acting for the chimp, and then that's overlaid with digital graphics. You know, for me, I consider it a performance.
I do. Yeah, as well.
It's really no different than. If someone has a lot of prosthetics on, like John Hurt in The Elephant Man, that's not his real face. This is a work. You know, it's still.
Yeah.
him.
Plus the time and effort and skill involved in that performance is probably just as high as it would be to be an actor in a regular film. You know.
Exactly. So yeah, I went in with, I wouldn't say low expectations, but sort of medium. You know, if you know what I mean. Like I wasn't expecting.
I seem to recall that got a lot of good reviews at the time, like surprisingly good reviews for a Planet of the Apes reboot thingy.
Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed it. The apes are all done very well. They do a very good balance between being very sympathetic, but also being very savage. And they all sort of have distinct personalities without it ever becoming like a Disney movie where all the apes talk and have musical numbers in it.
Well, you had me up until that point, but
Ooh, help me, Dr. Zeus! I hate every ape I see. chimp and A to chimpanzee. Oh, you'll never make a monkey out of me.
Dr. Sayers, Dr. Sayers.
I can't believe I went years, just on a tangent, I went literally until I was probably about 19 or 20 before I realised that the Dr. Zayas song was based on the song Amadeus.
I have almost gone 23 years without knowing that, because that's the first I've ever...
I had never heard... There, yeah, it was a big hit in the 80s. There's a song called Amadeus by... God, I don't remember who it's by now. Some German band, I think. Yeah, it's Amadeus. Amadeus. Ooh.
I don't really know that song that well, but yeah, I've heard of it.
Come on, Amadeus. Yeah, I had no idea. But Rise of the Planet of the Apes, very, very good. The special effects are excellent. All the monkeys are very
Apes.
believable. Apes.
He says monkeys, he means apes. So.
Yeah, there was no point really where I lost myself. Or sorry, the opposite of that. I was taken out of the movie by going, "Oh, that's a CGI monkey ape."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything was really good. I enjoyed it immensely. There were some bits that were a little off-putting, where the
James Franco just has tantric sex with a monkey.
No,
ape. Sorry.
I think they're holding that out for the sequel. Spring
Breakers on Planet of Apes.
Ooh, possibly. That wouldn't be too bad.
I think it would be.
Tom Felton character says the line, "Take your damn paws off me, you
Take your stinking paws off, you damn dirty ape.
Take your stinking paws off me, you filthy mudblood."
But it's done in a way that is too overbearingly wink wink nudge nudge. Remember that other film? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Rather than it being like a sly subtle callback, it's very like in your face. Because it's the exact line delivered extremely poorly compared to the original. And,
by a little 9-year-old child. Yeah. with stupid streak back blonde hair in robes.
And but yeah, I would definitely recommend, if people haven't seen it, to check it out. And I've not seen that. This is my first Planet of the Apes movie that I've seen.
Yeah.
I think I've seen about half of the original Planet of the Apes, but I've not actually watched the whole movie.
It's one of those things where it's ruined by the fact that I've seen it referenced in
Exactly.
in everything. So it's like, well, I'm not gonna get to the end and go, oh my god, it was Planet Earth. You know.
Spoiler! I gotta beat that out.
They apparently put the Statue of Liberty on like the home video and DVD release. So like, it was fairly
On the
obvious.
cover?
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
cover. So it's fairly obvious when you rented it what was going to happen.
Maybe someone will buy it and that's weird. The Planet of the Apes also had like a gift from the French.
Well, I have Planet of the Apes on DVD here, special edition, and yeah, there it is on the front, Statue of Liberty.
one of your millions never watched, I assume.
I think this is where I've seen half. It's not actually mine; it's my brother's. So,
Right.
But
The first one of those I saw actually was the Tim Burton one with Mark
oh,
Wahlberg.
I've seen that. What an awful
Oy,
film.
what a load of shit, baby.
Tim Burton? What?
Yeah, Tim Burton did 2001 Planet of the Apes with Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg and Helena Bonham Carter was in it, surprisingly. So we've got all those gigs. Weird.
I'm familiar with that film. I did not know it was Tim Burton. That's weird.
Yeah.
Because it's not sort of dark pastel colors, gothic, nonsense.
And then
So
at
I
the
guess
end, Abe Lincoln is a monkey or something, and you go, huh? And then you, instead of pondering the merits of the film, you just wonder why you spent money on that nonsense.
Where?
Yeah, the original's very good though. I saw that after I saw the remakes, and it was still very good.
The one
thought
thing
film was
that
actually
people might be
good.
disappointed by in this one is that the monkeys, apes, are portrayed as real apes rather than wacky combo human ape things.
Well, this is the prequel, so they haven't evolved into humanoid apes yet.
I'm not sure how much more evolving is going to be, frankly. Not to spoil this movie, but they're pretty close to, I think, the final product in this movie.
What do you mean? What product?
Is there a scene towards the end of this film that is very much akin to the end of Episode 3 of Star Wars with the Emperor Darth Vader looking at where it's like they heavily imply, and this is where the next film begins? Is that what you're saying?
In a way, But well, for example, the main character, which is James Franco. I'm talking about the main ape here. Is called Caesar, and throughout the film, he goes through a certain evolution of kinds. And by the way,
I love chicken salad.
And by the by the way, at the start of the movie, it starts with James Franco finding this baby monkey ape, and then it's like 8 years later, James Franco's not aged a day. Oh, that's
always a weird thing.
That's a bit wacky.
Trying to do.
But then, yeah, the ape becomes pretty close to what I imagine will be the full ape, Planet of the Apes ape. But he still looks like it.
No, but in the original, obviously, it was like hundreds of years in the future.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm talking about like if the James Franco apes kept evolving.
But was it that it kept evolving, or in 1962 that they couldn't afford or have the ability to make them look like apes? So there's like
no, but they evolved
into
into humanoid apes.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, well that's what I watched this week. I gave it an 8 out of 10, which, by the way, I found out is my most frequent score that I give to movies.
Nice.
I looked it up on IMDb. They have a little graphic that shows you your rating history and your sort of percentage of which score you give to movies, and 8 is my highest.
Really? I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah.
Although I think I've only rated like 2 things, like Spring Breakers and The Last of Us, so I don't know if I've really got an average. And that average would be 10, so...
Not bad. Yeah, really enjoyed Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It wasn't too long either. You know how I am about super long movies. Yeah, really good. Went by quite quickly. I was initially going to watch Fantastic Mr. Fox, the Wes Anderson movie. We're probably going to watch that tomorrow. I'm also going to the cinema tomorrow to see Into the Furnace, or Out of the Furnace. I don't know what it's called, with Christian Bale and Casey Affleck. Go and see a little preview, a sneaky preview showing of that one tomorrow. And Wolf of Wall Street tonight. So.
Oh yeah.
A lot of movies for next week.
I saw Gravity this week.
Yeah.
Just a few days after I said I don't think I'll ever get around to watching it. But I did this week. Basically, I was sizing up the different options that I have, sort of from my 2013 catch up that I hadn't seen yet. I was looking at them and I was like, yeah, Gravity seems like to be the one where most people are talking about it. And I need to be involved in that discussion. I need to be a bit informed. So I checked it out, and I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. I thought Sandra Bullock, who I typically have no time for, was good. You know, okay. George Clooney was definitely George Clooney, which was you know, bothersome. But it worked for the role he was in. You know. It was. I mean, that character would work best as George Clooney, so that's fine. And as for the rest of it, I mean, a bit over the top, sentimental, cringy in bits, but good. I thought it looks amazing and it sounds amazing, and it's one of those films where it's something that I've never seen done much in sort of space films. It kind of really captured, hey, look, space is big and hopeless, and you really don't want to get lost there. Even like classic space horror films, I feel like don't really do that to a great degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's kind of early scenes where she's kind of spiraling out of control in space, and they just do a great job of capturing, like, this would be one of the most terrifying things ever, that will never happen to 99% of us, but it would be one of the most terrifying things you could imagine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like being lost at sea, like in the middle of the ocean or something. Like, what was that film called where people got lost in the middle of the sea? I can't remember.
But yeah, really good. Not, you know, I'm not a film aficionado, but wouldn't be in my Oscar list, you know.
No, certainly not.
Not in that stratosphere, but it was good. I mean, it was well worth a watch.
I thought it was good as well. I mean, I spoke about it a while ago, but I don't. People who were giving it 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. It's to me, it's just a little. It's good, but it's a little too basic. If you know what I mean. It's visually and technically, it's excellent, of course, but in terms of story and the plot points it hits, if the CGI wasn't so good, I don't think people would be raving about it as much. Was my point. For example, there's a scene towards the end, and I'm going to try and not spoil anything. I'll be extremely vague here. But one character in the movie experiences somewhat of like a dream sequence where they see another character that has died in the movie.
There's only 2 characters in it, so.
There's more than 2 characters in the movie, Joe. Come on now.
On the screen, there are 2 characters.
No, there's not, Joe. There's more than 2 characters in the film.
Oh
Think
yeah,
back.
there's the bloke who does the Ali G. Oh no, it's the other one.
Anyway, 2 characters, and the one. It appears as though the one that you think has died is in fact not died and has come back and blah blah. And that is used as a plot point to sort of spur the other character on to live and fight to survive. But it's done in such a bait and switch way that it was just like, ugh. I found it a little bit cringy in a way. I think a much more effective way to do it is if they had been talking earlier in the movie about. There's this thing in Gravity that is always referenced to where her daughter died because she fell or something, and it's never properly explained or never really leads anywhere. Like, it's never used as a big "my daughter died," it's just she brings up every now and then how her daughter died because she fell
Because of gravity.
and I just feel like a better way to have done it would be that the character is thinking back. I completely spoiled it now by saying her daughter, by the way. The character's thinking back and to like a previous conversation about the daughter or something. Maybe you see a flashback with the daughter, and that's what spurs her on, rather than it being this bait and switch with a character she doesn't even know that well, that she only has been working with for a short while because she's only with the thing very briefly. And yeah, that just seemed a bit shitty to me. But yeah, generally good, but not that good, I would say, about Gravity. How was it on a small screen, by the way? Because I saw it in 3D IMAX, so.
I mean, perhaps that's why I was not blown away to the level most people were. But it was good. I mean, it does translate. I mean, obviously not as good, but it's still a perfectly watchable and enjoyable film. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to watch next. I've been threatening to watch Nebraska for ages, but I feel like it's the kind of film I want to be in a right mood to watch.
Yeah, apparently people are finding it difficult to illegally find Nebraska online.
Well, I wouldn't do that. I go
I couldn't find it. I mean, I couldn't find it in the cinema. Huh?
Nebraska's one that's definitely worth a watch. It's not a very like serious or upsetting film. I don't think you'd need to be in a specific mood to stay and watch it. It's quite funny at points.
Alright, well, I'll give it a look.
Definitely one worth a watch. Best movie 2013 for me.
What else I got? One film I've never. It's not a 2013 film, but it's on tonight in Channel 4. 30 Days of Night. Have you seen that?
No, I've not seen it.
No, I like the sound of the concept, but I never bothered to watch it.
Oh, but it's just, if nothing else to do, so I'll probably watch that tonight. On the same horror note, last year's You're Next, I'll probably get around to watching that. I heard good things about that. Well, mixed things, mostly good. And that's what I'm currently watching at the moment. Not playing anything yet. Still playing DMC, persevering with that. It's good. Reinstalled Borderlands 2 because it was on PS Plus, but I completely forgot how to actually play it. So that's good. Yeah, so that was my week really. Not much. And I'm still reading The Road, by the way. I bought it like 2 months ago and I'm still reading it.
Well, I see Joe bought Watchmen today.
I bought one of those novels with pictures in.
Yeah, picture
A
book.
graphic novel. Yes, The Watchmen. No, sorry, Watchmen, not The Watchmen, which I keep calling it.
Have you started it yet?
Not yet. Probably give it a while until I can give it my full attention. This week I've still been revising for the office.
Yeah.
Big office pub quiz next week. Yeah, I've only ever read one graphic novel before.
Which was what?
V for Vendetta.
Oh,
Also
okay.
by Alan Moore.
Well, that's a British one, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought I'd give this one a go. Sort of a must-read.
Yeah, I certainly would not consider myself a big comic guy by any means.
No.
But Watchmen is excellent. So I have no doubt you'll enjoy it immensely. It's extremely good.
Yeah.
Don't watch the film though.
No.
Avoid like the plague, please.
Yeah, I've
I
occasionally
should
thought,
probably,
should I watch the film? And I've always thought, no, I'm going to wait and read the novel and not bother.
Yeah, that's
I'll probably
definitely
every time I go into the bookstore, let's go straight to the comic section. I always see like, God, there's always there's these big special editions of Watchmen and stuff like that. And I always think to myself, I should really pick that up. I'm not a big comic guy either, although I probably read them more regularly than you two. If I just look over here, see what I got. I've got like the big notable Batman ones, the Long Halloween, the Killing Joke.
Well, so yeah,
War.
you're about 100 times the comic person I am. I think I've only ever read Watchmen. I think it's the only one I've read in my whole life.
Well, you might like. I mean, again, like I only read the ones where everyone's like, "This is like one of the coolest Batman stories ever." Like, okay, I'll read it then. So it's like the Killing Joke is great, and the Long Halloween is great. I've got the first 3 issues of The Walking Dead, and I've just never really bothered to pick up anymore. They're good. I've never bothered to pick up anymore. Watchmen's been on my list for years. I can't believe there's a Last of Us comic and I haven't read it yet. I can't believe that's happened. I might pick that up next week actually, because the DLC is out in 2 weeks. So look forward to that. Scott McAvoy, you haven't played Last of Us yet. Fuck's sake, man, hurry up, get on that.
I think if there was another comic that I would read, it would probably be Akira.
Oh yeah,
my brother I think has the first 2 volumes of it, so I'd probably give that a go at some stage. But otherwise, I don't know. It's not really a medium that appeals to me. I think I get through them too quickly, and then feel unsatisfied afterwards.
I like them, but I don't feel like I'm into them enough to closely follow them and spend money on them every week and stuff like that. I got over Christmas I got some freebies from Comixology. They were doing a 12 days of Christmas free comics thing, and I got like a Batman one. I got some stuff I've never heard of in my entire life, and I've read 1 or 2 of them. It's like, they're good, but it's just, again, I don't care enough to keep up with it, and it's the type of thing where if you don't keep up with it, I feel like you're lost. Especially Jesus. Can you imagine trying to get into like DC, like Spider-Man and Batman stuff now? What universe is what? Who's who? Who's doing this? Who's alive? Is this person still this person? Or is this person dead and now it's actually a clone, but he's pretending to be this person just for the sake of ease of the writers?
It's like Mexican wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's Mystico now?
But yeah, comic books are alright. You read the right ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my. I think that was our weeks. Joe, do you see any films?
Nah.
Right. I don't think I watched any telly of note.
I'm going to throw out another recommendation for a show that I recommended initially when I started watching it, and I'm very happy to have got in on the ground floor because it's really gone from strength to strength, and it's easily one of the best things I watch nowadays, which is Rick and Morty, which is on I think it's on Adult Swim, which is really excellent, really great. And people need to latch onto that one before they're behind the curve. So that's my recommendation for Rick and Morty. It's only 5 episodes in, each one's only 20 minutes, so get onto that, brother. And that's all I've been watching.
Good.
And I believe you've been watching some Gravity Falls, Barry.
Yeah, I'm almost done. Don't know what possessed me, but I decided to get back into it and try and finish off the first season. I might finish the first season tonight, actually. I think I've only got 2 or 3 episodes left. It's only short. So, yeah, I'm loving it. Great stuff, very funny. Looking forward to the second season, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
And I also watched new episode of Archer this week as well, which is very good, as usual.
Did you watch the pterodactyl episode of Gravity Falls?
No, I think that's towards the end.
Okay, well, let me know when you did, because that's a good one.
Will do.
Good brother. Gravity Falls
So-
is excellent. If people don't watch Gravity Falls, get on that as well. And Adventure Time.
Yeah.
They're my trinity of cartoons I'm watching at the moment. Avoid a Family Guy like the plague also, because that's a show that's not been good in 8 years. Right about now?
Well, about since it debuted, yeah.
Season
Anyway.
1, Episode 1.
So, do we want to jump into the emails?
Go ahead.
Alrighty.
Check your spam.
I did last night, but I'll do it again today. Just to be sure, you never know. Gmail was going a bit mental earlier this week. That was a
Was it?
that was an upsetting 4 or 5 minutes before they fixed this.
Yeah, I saw people moaning about it on Twitter, and I hadn't even noticed. So.
What happened? I was.
It's just Gmail was down for literally, I think, about 5 minutes. They had it back up so quick. Wow, I do have something in my spam. Thank you for alerting me to that.
There you go.
Let's see here. It's from one of our regulars too. Why is Gmail not recognizing that this is important? Not even important, just not spam. Alright, here we go. There we go in here. So my first email is from Scott.
Yay.
He says, side effect of one champion. He says, I was looking at the Royal Rumble card and watching Raw. They mentioned that the next pay-per-view is Elimination Chamber, and it dawned on me that with only one champion, we'll only have one Elimination Chamber match this year. This disappoints me. The Elimination Chamber has long been one of my favourite gimmick matches, and losing one of them leaves a 45-minute hole in the pay-per-view. We can guess that Del Rio versus Batista will be on the card, but I'm wondering what else we'll see. The one champion also means only one Money in the Bank match, which also makes me wonder if they'll change the name of the pay-per-view and move the match back to WrestleMania where it started. It was actually reported this week that that's actually not going to happen. So even though there is only one champion, that pay-per-view, or whatever they will be called in the era of the network, that will remain its own pay-per-view, even though they only have one briefcase. But I wonder what only one match is going to make to do with the quality of the wrestlers we'll see in the match. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on anything that we could have changed. Yeah, Scott, thanks very much. The Elimination Chamber, yeah, it's interesting. I think they could maybe get a bit more creative with it. They could maybe reignite the Wyatts versus the Shield feud and do a tag Elimination Chamber, do a bit of War Games almost. I don't really like the idea of them, if they only have one title, I don't like the idea of them doing a Chamber for the title, because you'll have the Royal Rumble sort of the month before to determine who gets the shot, and then you'd have 5 guys getting a shot the next month. I think that's a bit silly. Whereas when there was 2 titles, the guy who got the Rumble win would face for one title, and then the other title would be the one on the line in the Chamber. But whatever, I digress. I don't know. There are some upshots of having one champion because they have had 2 for so long, but I just think that in the long run, this is the way it has to be, because it was not worth having these 2 titles where one of them was so obviously the weaker title. It was not perceived as a world title no matter how hard they pushed it as one. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see where they go with the Chamber. Money in the Bank, I'm less concerned about that. I think they'll probably have one big super match with a real great mix of talent in that one match this year. I think that'll be interesting. So yeah, thank you for your email, Scott.
I'm in favour of only having one gimmick match on these pay-per-views, by the way. Because with Elimination Chamber, for example, previously you had these 2 matches with 12 guys spread over 2 matches, which often meant that the rest of the card was a little bit weaker as well.
Yeah.
Now they can have all the big stars in one match, so you don't have to have a Santino in it or Kane or whoever. You can have the 6 top...
bring Tyson Kidd back from obscurity to be in Money in the Bank.
Exactly, you know what I mean? So you can have... Jeez, that's SmackDown Money in the Bank last time. With all the heels in it. So they can have the 6 top guys in one match. All your mid guys you can spread over the rest of the card, so you have a bit more balance in there. Plus you can put all your best spots into one match. So ultimately you're going to have a better match rather than having to spread ideas between 2 of them. And you avoid the burnout of having to watch 2 chamber matches. Now I realise some people like Scott enjoy, more is better, but for me, I always appreciated the build up on a show, waiting all the show for the main event, the big chamber match, rather than starting off with a chamber match. So it's a bit of a come down afterwards.
There's been some weak chambers in recent years too as well. I like the idea of
there's been some ropey lineups.
Yeah, because I love the Elimination Chamber as well. I think it's a great match. So I would very much like that. Okay, one match this year. Give it extra time. Give it the bones of an hour if you want, instead of 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Since you've got less time to take up, and just put in your 6 best. Like this year, fucking John Cena, Randy Orton, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. That's a great lineup already. 2 more guys, and you're golden. So yeah, I understand his complaint. It's just going to be a weird year where we kind of adjust to this forgotten way of having one champion, but it'll work out in the long term.
Yeah, they did it well before when they...
Maybe they could have an intercontinental title Elimination Chamber.
Do you know what would be good? And by good, I mean a complete mess. A tag team title elimination chamber. You got two lads in each.
Two blokes in each fight. Oh yeah, baby.
The primetime players are out of the pod.
Well, they could do a 3-way with one guy in each pod. They could do.
No, it's going to be 12 men.
I was going to say, like, Usos, Shield, and who are the actual tag? Oh, the Rhodes. Yeah, you could do that. That people would like that because they like those teams. That'd be interesting.
It would definitely bring a new dynamic to it, being a tag team match.
Suppose it, it depends on the.
They could do a Money in the Bank one.
Yeah, I mean,
a 3-way tag match. That's how they started the old.
Because the tag people care about the tag titles for the first time in a while, so that's good.
yeah, but these 6-man matches, it gives a whole new dynamic to how they can be done. They can be done completely differently, given that there's teams in it now.
Yeah. Get your creative caps on, creative.
Yeah, damn it. Your John Cena caps.
Thank you, Scott, for your email. My next email is from Steve. I don't think this is Steve from the Bay Area. I apologize if it is you, Steve. I don't recognize the email address. It's from Steve. He says, and if you're a new Steve, welcome. As you're an up-and-coming journalist, I'm curious what your thoughts are on the Grantland fiasco last week. In case you haven't heard the story, the short version is there was an article published where they sent a writer to investigate a golf company's magic puffer.
Oh, I've heard about this. Yeah, the transgendered person.
During the course of the story, the author learns that the reclusive company president is a transgendered woman who used to be a man. The author admits to outing the woman to her own business partner. There's a fuzzy bit towards the end where the author hints that he's going to out her to the world if she doesn't agree to one last interview. The woman killed herself before anything could have taken place. The article also suffers from misgendered pronouns and some writing that came off as homophobic. It's got a decent amount of attention here. Did it make any news over there? Well, I certainly didn't see it covered like in an Irish context, but I also didn't pick up on it sort of online anywhere. So I guess I just didn't have my ear to the ground on that one. My friend feels they did nothing wrong, but I say the author violated journalistic ethics by not only outing her to her business partner, but to publishing the article in general where they out the woman to the whole world. They did apologise, but their defence was that they didn't view it as outing her since she was already deceased. A pretty bizarre tale. What do you think? I think that sounds mental to me, and the fact that I didn't hear about it seems kind of crazy. That seems like I don't know what was gained. I'd have to read this myself. I don't understand what was gained by outing her. It sounds quite manipulative to say that he would out her if she didn't give him another interview.
I think it was part of a big because he was doing a story about this golf putter, and then it turned out this person had like faked some qualifications or something. And then they tied in the fact that they'd also had a sex change, as if it was also some big mysterious, who is this person really? And that was, I think, where they crossed the line in trying to present this sex change as if it was just another con or something.
Exactly. I mean, the thing about journalism is, I mean, it's not that they teach you this in this explicit language, but it's just something you become aware of when you're in journalism and you're constantly reading things and you're trying to sniff out a news angle. It's oftentimes there's a lot of manufacturing of stories, and I don't mean literally faking stories, but just picking up on something that might not necessarily be of worth to you given what you're currently working on. But if I present it a certain way and I can, I can tie this in. I mean, look, this person has a record for misleading people, and that they might actually be a man or whatever. It's just like journalists, good ones or bad ones, depending on how you view it, can latch on to things like that and sensationalize and blow them up, and it's just, I don't know. I consider myself something of a journalism skeptic. It's kind of why I work away in my own little niche world, where I don't really do things like investigate people and things like that, because it's just a bit seedy, and it's just like, you know what I mean?
Which is why he writes about wrestling instead.
Yeah, exactly, because it's like
good wholesome product.
Where he can maintain his integrity.
Product. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just. It certainly seems to me like it was unethical and seems like it was horribly manipulative, but I'd have to read up on it myself in my spare time. Thanks for that email, though, Steve. That was an interesting email.
Good email.
More of that kind of stuff, please, folks.
Yeah, Steve from the Bay Area, or not Steve from the Bay Area, whichever one you are. Feel free to email us next week to clarify, and I send you another question. It's all good. Thank you, Steve and Scott. That's all I got this week.
Right, don't have mine open yet. 1 second.
I've got one open. It's from Scott. He says CSP Wrestling Minor Leagues. I was talking about TNA with a friend of mine. I'm not sure why. But I noticed that only one wrestler. But I noticed that only one wrestler started in TNA and ended up in WWE. That's funny because I was thinking that the other day. Most of the talent that's been brought in has come from Ring of Honor. Does that show more about how good Ring of Honor is at building good young talent, or how terrible TNA is at doing it? I know TNA wants to be the WWE, but do you think they would be better off concentrating on younger talent to build something for the next 5 years? Thanks, Scott. P.S. Did you start looking on the tube for the odd signs that were on Twitter? No, I've looked in the past, but I think they take them down pretty quickly.
Who's the person who started in TNA and went to WWE? Consequences of Creed, I guess?
Yeah, that's true. There must be someone else.
Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
Can't think of
yeah, that's the only one I can think of. I mean, unless there's a really obvious one we're forgetting. I don't think there is. CM Punk, technically.
No, yeah, anyway, I think it's just the food chain, really. TNA is slightly bigger than Ring of Honor, WWE's bigger, so they can pick or choose whoever they want. TNA can probably offer a little bit more money and exposure than Ring of Honor, so that's why they...
I do think, though, that there's a bit of a stink to the TNA name. That,
definitely,
if anything, it deters them from signing people from there.
Yeah, and you know, look at guys like MVP and John Morrison, who have been doing absolutely nothing for years, and would probably want to go back to WWE, but would never consider TNA. I think they're better off focusing on their own talent because, well, MVP
one of them,
is he?
One of them might.
Well, anyway.
Maybe next
Yeah,
year, possibly.
I don't think all these WWE guys they've brought in haven't made any difference to the business. I mean, they did a higher rating this week with Magnus, Spud, and what's his name, Ethan Carter, than they ever did with like Hogan and that lot. So they might as well bring in the younger talent. They'll be cheaper and they can build them up themselves.
I mean, I don't know if it's because their hand has been forced by their finances. It probably is. But I do feel like, to their credit, I mean, I don't think the show is particularly good, but I feel like they have tried a lot harder with some newer, younger people, like Ethan Carter and Magnus. I mean, say what you will about both of them, but they're doing an okay job. Well, Magnus not so much, but they're doing an okay job with them. And, you know, they have gotten rid of Hogan, they have gotten rid of AJ.
And
I mean, it is great, but... And the bromans. I mean, look, the bromans... Look, I said this on Twitter this week, actually. Who would have thought when Jesse Goddard came in that he would have been any good at all? You know, and he was entertaining very quickly, and he's progressed very well in the ring. So they're making an effort of it, you know.
Yeah,
yep,
for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Scott. Paul,
Got it?
you?
Yeah. Okay. First one from me comes from David, and Dave says, "Hi, Paul. For
Is it David
100
Moyes.
Do you want to be the United manager?" He
Do
says.
you want to sign Nani?
Oh god, he says, "Hi pal, for 100 grand, would you let a child squirt you in the face with a water gun for 1 hour? The money would be paid entirely in 2 and 1 cent coins."
Well, the obvious answer is yes, obviously.
Thanks for the reliably great show, Dave.
That's brilliant. Was it Dave Meltzer?
He's getting back to you after that question. P.S. Yes, Kane and Mankind are still around.
I sent that email in my sent mail here, I think. Wrestling Radio. I think I might have sent it twice as well.
Oh, good. Make sure he sees us. Yeah.
Observer, hang on. Observer. Hang on, where is it now? I think I already said it once. Paul Griffin, 2 mailbag. I haven't watched wrestling in a while. Are Kane and Mankind still about? He never answered it.
Oh,
Anyway.
bastard.
Anyway, to Dave. It's not Dave Meltzer, fortunately. And yeah, I think I'd have to go for that one. It's too much money. It's too much money. The problem with the 2 and 1 cent coins is, even when I get a lot of it in my change, it only adds up ever to about 3 cents. So it's not as if I was given change of 100 grand in 2 and 1 cent coins, I wouldn't throw it away. You know, it's still the value of the money.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course, I let a child Never mind letting a child squirt me with a water gun. I'd let a child squirt me with piss in the face for $100,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
jeez. I let a child squirt me in the face with a water gun for an hour for a $5 in 2 and 1 cent coins. You know?
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah, that still sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So I'm gonna accept that, David. And if you can sort it out for me, I'll be there.
Mate, them paying you in 1 and 2 cent coins, it'll be just like what Samsung did to Apple, except they didn't.
yeah.
God, the amount of people who believe that shite just
Well,
annoys me.
once something is put with an image on a tweet,
Exactly.
and it
Or on
spreads like
Facebook.
wildfire. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People, oh my God, what did they do? And it just never ends. Next one comes from Steve. I believe it's Steve from the Bay Area. Hang on, I got a burp coming on. Ooh. He says, sorry I didn't write in last week, but he got hit with the flu and was even hospitalized for a time with a 103 plus fever.
Nasty.
Jeez.
He says the flu is on a rampage through California. Not Rampage Jackson. 146 deaths so far from the flu
Oh,
this
well, I
year,
shouldn't be laughing.
including 50 just this week. As bad as the flu was, having to watch the Seahawks and Richard Sherman celebrate was even worse. Did we all see that Richard Sherman interview, by the way?
Yeah, talk about overblown.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed. It was
What
like
did he
it was
do?
like 10 seconds. It was like 10 seconds long. He goes, "I'm great."
Sure.
The other guy shouldn't have doubted me. He said it in an angry voice.
I think me and Joe, especially, coming from a Premier League background, whenever any footballer or manager is asked, no matter what question it is, they always answer in the same mundane, oh, well, the most important thing is at the end of the day, the 3
Oh yeah, but I
points,"
understand.
and,
But I just
obviously-
assumed that everyone in American football is like him.
I don't think so. I think even with American football, I've seen some like NBA and NFL post game press conferences, and they're all quite laid back, and the coach told us to do this in the game. So when you get someone's like, yeah, don't doubt me, I'm as good. And I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty entertaining.
It was
I
alright, yeah.
didn't think it was the best promo I've ever seen, but I was like, that's nice to see a sportsman who's fired up for a game and isn't afraid to hold back, because obviously 3 points are important, and he played fantastically well. And, bit boring. Anyway, so he says with the Rumble coming up, they've set it up so that it looks like Batista and Punk are the only likely candidates to win. So does this mean we're in for a crazy swerve? Triple H enters at number 30 to win. Big Show? Please God, no. Who do you think is going to win? Love the show. Keep up the great work. I've actually been thinking during the week, and to me, I'm not saying that it's likely, but the idea of Brock Lesnar entering as a late surprise entrant has been appealing to me a lot this week.
Yes.
Who?
Lesnar.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. I just feel like the way they've been subtly hinting.
Probably because Batista versus Orton has never been good ever.
Well, first of all, that's true. But they've been hinting at this. Brock Lesnar's going for the title without ever saying Lesnar's going to be in the Rumble, which would be a logical step for somebody who wants to become title. It's always been just vaguely said after the Rumble he's coming for the title, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think that would just be a good surprise ending at the end where Brock Lesnar's coming out in the Rumble, and I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as say that I'm confident that like my prediction to win the Rumble would be Brock Lesnar, but I think that would definitely be an interesting idea. Yeah, I think it's almost too obvious that Batista's going to win, in a way.
Yeah, but I thought it was too obvious that John Cena was going to win last year.
But even with John Cena winning, that was a cog in a 3-year story. So it wasn't so much that it was just like a predictable story. It was actually, we knew where it was going to go because it had been 2 years build up. Whereas Batista only came back on Raw last week, and I mean, on one hand, you think they'd want to keep him like establish him as this dominant wrestler and have him win the Royal Rumble, but I don't know. I think that the Royal Rumble this year won't be as predictable as we all think it's going to be. I think we're probably in line for a swerve of some kind.
I'll counter that and say I think it'll be exactly as predictable as we think it's going to be.
We Batista win.
Yep.
I think Daniel Bryan will come out at number 30 and win. That's my prediction.
That would be awesome, but I don't think so.
I think that I think
He'll
there's,
do a
there's going to be a
Bret
surprise.
Hart in '94. He'll get injured by Bray Wyatt, but then he'll limp out courageously and win the Rumble. Maybe it'll be a tie. Maybe Bryan and Batista will win.
And just on a little side note, I'm actually taking Monday off work
Oh, you bastard!
to stay up and watch the Royal Rumble.
I wish I could. First day of college Monday, 9 o'clock start. I can't believe it. Jesus.
Yeah, just during the
well.
week. Just during the week, I put in for Monday off, so I have no work on Monday. So here at my house, we're having a sort of a Royal Rumble party of sorts, where me and my brother and a few mates are gonna watch the Royal Rumble on the telly. Now we're not ordering it, of course. It's gonna be streamed with HDMI, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Royal Rumble this year for some reason. So yeah, thanks for that, Steve. Probably a swerve, if you want my opinion. And the last one comes from Scott McAvoy, who says potential WrestleMania match. He says, hello Paul, with the WWE Universe being put on notice that both Brock Lesnar and Batista both want the WWE title, what is the likelihood that we could see Lesnar versus Batista at WrestleMania? I know it seems like they're going to do the Batista Del Rio, and the talk of Lesnar Taker's out there, but I think seeing those two go at it would be better. Maybe put the number one contender and a title shot on the line. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, definitely an idea. Since they both debuted in 2002, I've always really wanted to see a Lesnar Batista match, and we never got it. But now Batista's a little skinny man now, though.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they have the same appeal as if he did it in like 03. But yeah, it'd be definitely interesting to see. I'd be in favour of a Lesnar Batista match.
Yeah. Could be good.
I don't know whether they'll do it at WrestleMania though.
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam would be good. SummerSlam Lesnar Batista? Yeah, I think then you'd have time to establish Batista as a legitimate threat.
Beast versus the animal.
Just only because all Batista's done so far was come out and powerbomb Del Rio, which Sin Cara did a few weeks ago. I think you need.
Did he?
Yeah, sunset flip off the turnbuckle. Gave him
that's what he
gave
gave.
him a concussion. Like a flip powerbomb, really, isn't it?
Flippy bomb.
I think you could give Batista a few months to be established and
Get
I
back
think,
on the juice.
Yeah, I'd like to see that at SummerSlam. I think that'd be a good idea, Joe. He also says, P.S. Can we have an update on the voodoo doll being used to ruin your life? Any sleepless nights, torn muscles, or broken fingernails that he's taken credit for lately? Not as of such. I've been doing pretty well lately. I'm not sleeping particularly well, I'd say, but I've been doing okay. I see Mama this week was on a website, and all I read on it was the magical death ray. So I am getting worried now.
Is that what he calls? Is that what he calls a gun?
Possibly. It was magic. By the way, it was magical, spelled MAGICKAL.
Of course. Well, that's the actual spelling. Have you never played a role-playing game? Come on now.
Yeah.
But we did via the old Snapchat. We did see a bit of his head was obscured though. Like
I didn't want him to see that I was recording.
Yeah, exactly. So we saw. We never see his face. He's very much like a little character you might have heard of called Maris from Frasier. Oh baby, I hear the blues are calling, toss salad and scrambled eggs.
Get the dogs on my chair.
Magical voodoo all over my face.
Quite stylish.
So that's what Mama's been up to this week. As far as I'm aware.
Mama. Anyway, thanks for the emails, chaps, as always.
Yeah, ChairShotPodcast.com. Click on the email us bit, and then we'll read them here and have the fun like we just did. Oh, wasn't it great?
Oh, what a fun. Remember when we read the emails? Ooh.
I do. It was the best bit of my week.
Anyway,
news. This is the wrestling portion of the show now that we've entered.
sorry everyone else.
Oh God, what's happened this week?
One thing we should probably discuss, right? Do we want to get into potential spoilers for the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, or do we want to give them a miss?
Ideally, I've been trying to avoid as many Royal Rumble spoilers as I can.
Well, there aren't that many, but
Well, that's what I mean. Just because the last few years, I feel like the novelty of the Royal Rumble is ruined a bit by knowing that Booker T and Nash are going to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I've been trying to avoid all that stuff this year. So I've not been really up on stuff. But if it's stuff that's not going to ruin the Rumble or anything, we can discuss it, I suppose.
Well, okay. Just one thing in pertaining to both these things. So Daniel Bryan's WrestleMania opponent is supposedly set in stone, and it does not involve him being in the Rumble. But we already know he's not in the Rumble. So this would just put doubt on the fact that he may be a surprise entrant. But apparently, they have their hearts set on him facing Sheamus.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Third time's the charm. They might actually get a match this time.
Well, I wouldn't be against that. I think because they had that fantastic match at Extreme Rules the other year.
Yeah, they've had some
See
excellent
again,
matches together. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And like
UFC,
them,
yeah.
even if they get time, it'd still be rushed. I guarantee.
Unless they
do.
do it as Daniel Bryan as the babyface and Sheamus as a heel again, because then that would put a new spin on it.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I wondered if that's true. Does it mean that Sheamus is coming back as a heel?
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting. I'd be in favour of that. Yeah, I think it would give Daniel Bryan something to do, and they could have a really good match as they have had in the past. Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'd be for that.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
there's that.
Yeah. Apparently, Sting is potentially on his way in.
Oh!
After his damning loss to Magnus
In a shite match on Impact.
on Impact. It seems like this year, all the talk, rather than it being about like The Rock and Brock Lesnar, it's about all the old fogies this year. It's like Sting and Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior
Yeah.
Batista.
It's like a new level. Yeah, exactly.
and Batista, who's 45.
Yeah, I did not realize Batista was that much older than Triple H.
Yeah.
But he is.
So, yeah, it's just a bit weird this year. I think Sting could come in, do the Hall of Fame. I don't know whether I really want to see Sting do a match at this point, unless they.
It'd be alright. Be a spectacle.
But who's he going to wrestle?
Undertaker!
No, dude, I don't want to see Sting wrestling.
Who else would he wrestle though? Come on.
John Cena.
Oh god.
How
That would
about
be terrible.
The franchise versus the icon.
Shane Douglas?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Is
sure
there-
that match probably did happen at one stage.
I like how there is zero talk anymore about Ryback and Goldberg.
Yeah, apparently that's dead. Yeah, that's not
Or
happening.
Ryback at all. Really? Was he even on Raw this week? I don't think he was.
Why would Goldberg ever come back to lose to Ryback?
Ryback is a prelim tag guy now.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh dear, his Twitter is just
Prelim tag big
fabulous though. So
guy. Yeah. So Sting. I mean, look, I don't want to see Sting have a bad match with the Undertaker. I'd rather Undertaker have another good match at WrestleMania this year.
yeah.
Yeah, because that's tradition. It's one of the only. It's almost one of the only reasons to watch WrestleMania these days.
They could have a good match.
They
I
probably
think-
have a good atmosphere for the match, but
Get Sting in to do the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame. Woo, woo. Get him in for the Hall of Fame. Although Triple H apparently has this weird obsession with, well, he was never WWE, so he can't be in the Hall of Fame.
yeah, I think they're over it. They're in bridge building mode these days, burying hatchets and whatnot.
That is true. Although they weren't ready to put Goldberg in. Just the other, they were saying that he was.
because he won't lose to Ryback.
Coming out this summer, the Self-Destruction of Goldberg DVD.
Imagine if they brought him back for the Hall of Fame and the condition was you have to lose to Ryback to get in. Fucking
Oh
hell.
my god, Ryback.
Apparently Ultimate Warrior is getting a DVD that will be the polar opposite of the first one they did. So-
The construction of the stuff. So yeah, Ultimate Warrior. There's been no sign of who else
I
is going
read
to the
Ultimate
Hall of
Warrior's
Fame.
going to have a match. Is that right?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. It's not. It's on the table apparently.
Is it him versus Sting? Finally
Oh.
get the Blade Runners big match.
Blade Runners collide. That could be on the
Yeah.
paper. That could be on the poster.
The Dingo Warrior and fucking whatever Steve was called back in the day.
Sting.
Yeah, there was Sting and wasn't he called something else? As
Maybe
well?
he could wrestle
Where?
Sting. Sting could wrestle Sting for the rights to the name Sting.
Possibly. Or Sting could wrestle one of the guys who was a fake Sting in WCW. Those 100 times they did that. Fake Sting.
Then we could wrestle Hogan. They could do their TNA match, but on a bigger scale.
Yeah, why not? That is sad.
Awful.
No, their match was.
That wasn't bad. That was a few years ago. Though.
That's mad to think that Hulk Hogan's last match. Hulk Hogan, his last match would be in front of what 2,000 people on TNA Bound for Glory. I mean, I know that the word is that they don't want Hulk Hogan to wrestle at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But wrestle is such a murky term these days. When Bret Hart can wrestle Vince McMahon for an hour on a WrestleMania, I'm sure they can have Hogan do something. You know, like Bret Hart cannot take a bump, okay, at all. But he's had matches. He was the US champion in 2010.
Yeah.
I think Hogan could have a match without having a match, if you know what I mean. Smoke and mirrors. I think the tag match was the easiest way to do it, but for some reason they don't want to do that, apparently. I'd like to see Hogan wrestle.
Mirrors.
God, that Gold is Cody Rhodes song.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Awful. I'd like to see Hogan have a little match. Come on, why not? It's WrestleMania 30. It's the 30th. I was going to say the 30th anniversary, but it's not. It's the 29th anniversary of the first WrestleMania.
It is the 30th WrestleMania. Yeah.
What they should do is get Hogan, Mr. T, Roddy Piper, and who else was in that match? Orndorff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the four of them and have an ultraviolet death match.
Well, Piper wants him and Punk versus Cena and Hogan in a tag match.
Right, don't do that. And Piper, stop taking cocaine.
But he's outright campaigning for that on Twitter, which I don't think is the way to go about it.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'd put Cena in a position to be so universally hated.
How do you mean?
Because everyone
By
would
going
love
against
Hogan.
Punk?
No, well, partly that, but everyone would cheer for Hogan, and everyone would cheer for Piper and Punk as a team, and no one would cheer for Cena. He'd be the only one to get booed when he tagged in.
How about they do Cena and Hogan and the Warrior against the Wyatt family? How about that for a match?
That would be horrendous.
Why don't they just do Hogan Warrior, the rematch?
The rematch of the rematch.
All the titles on the line.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Hogan can get his win back at WrestleMania.
Just do a gimmick battle royal with Hogan and the Warrior and
Sting, Batista, Goldberg,
Ryback.
The Miz,
Yeah, bring the gimmick battle royal back, but full of
Ric Flair,
stars.
Bruno, Mick Foley.
The ghost of Mae Young.
Sounds good.
It's so much potential. Yeah, let's actually see if there was any news this week. TNA did a really good rating, apparently, with the best rating.
Well, 1.2.
Yeah,
Well,
it's the high.
it's
the
all
high
relative,
that they're
isn't it?
stuck to. I don't think they've gotten that since. Oh, I know they. I think Russo was there the last time they got that.
And he's
rumor-
here this time as well.
rumors are
Oh
that he's
my
around.
god! Russo equals rating.
Oh shit! It's Vince Russo!
Everyone's speculating that he's back because of the nature of Thursday's show, which, to be fair, is probably fair speculation if you actually saw the show. But yeah, they did whatever. Fair play to them. They're probably gonna have a few good weeks. Oh, wait, actually no. I was gonna say they're probably gonna have a few good weeks because they're heading to Glasgow, but that makes no fucking difference to their ratings. The quality of the audience never translates to anything. But yeah, whatever. Fair play to them. They'll probably make good money in Glasgow at least.
Yeah, well.
I miss Glasgow.
Possibly.
Although not because TNA is there.
Glasgow.
I bet it's raining in Glasgow.
Yeah, I'm not sure there was much more news this week.
Still no real confirmation on what Jeff Jarrett's up to. Keeping his cards close.
He's in the Gimmick Battle Royal.
He's tweeting lots of quotes though. CM Punk did an interview on MMAfighting.com.
Oh, that was
I
a
didn't have a
fantastic
chance to listen to
Yeah.
yet, but
Well, it's a video interview, so you watch it. It's great. It's a great interview. I tweeted off our ChairShot Podcast Twitter account at ChairShot Pod.
Hang on, I'm gonna read this thingy here on 411 Mania about Vince Russo because I've heard people joking about it. I've not seen it reported anywhere. Oh, here we go. PW Insider. Okay, reports that there's been chatter that Vince Russo is back in some form in TNA to consult on the creative.
Like he's a terrorist. Chatter. Vince Russo's active.
On the creative end, several people have said they believe Russo is back in the company in some form. Eric Barnes, who handles TNA publicity, is said to have denied that Russo is back in the company. Russo was also not at the Huntsville taping. That's from PW Insider, so that's not just waffle. Yeah. So for those of you who didn't watch on Thursday, there was a pole match. There was a bunch of nonsense in the main event and just rampant misogyny everywhere. So it's possible. Tag team partners hating each other, all that good stuff. Incredibly stupid logical loopholes, all that good stuff. So yeah. So we'll see where that goes. What else was there? There was another story on the tip of my tongue there. No movement on the the traditional pay-per-view distribution for WWE. One company is apparently just not gonna. They're not gonna stir the pot just yet. Comcast. They are not going to pull WWE anytime soon. DirecTV are still very angry, but there's no word on what they're gonna do. Hulk Hogan. Yeah, Hulk Hogan's never going to pass a physical, no matter how much they want him to do a match. So, in fact, speaking of physical, was there? Oh yeah, there's people who think that Kurt Angle could go back to WWE when his contract comes due.
Yeah, apparently he's not listed on the lockdown promotional material, which is weird given he's one of the biggest stars in the company.
So he could potentially be in as it. Basically, it's the same logic here. That's why AJ Styles was on the chopping block, which is that he may, and Hulk Hogan, he has one of the most lucrative contracts in the company. They're just cutting costs wherever they can and pushing new people as hard as they can. So there's a chance he could go. Also, Christopher Daniels, his contract is coming due in a few months, and there is talk that he could be on the bubble. He has outright denied that on Twitter, told people not to speculate. But that's the story. I mean, he would say that. On the one hand, I want to argue that these could be serious losses for TNA, but they will do the same rating with Ethan Carter, Spud, and Dixie Carter on top as they would with Hogan, Sting, Angle, Jeff Hardy. Doesn't matter. So yeah, interesting times ahead in TNA. I think Lagana proved he was full of shite. Didn't turn them around whatsoever. Made the program equally as unwatchable as it was before, so that's good.
That's true.
So yeah, that's TNA news really for this week, and I don't think there's any major WWE news.
I just want to give out a few podcast recommendations for the week. Two really good interviews this week. Obviously, Barry mentioned the CM Punk on MMAfighting.com, but Frankie Kazarian and Chris Daniels were both on MLW's free radio show on Sunday. Their podcast. They were also on one of the subscription shows. Both excellent. If you're interested in that, let me know and I'll sort you out. And then
sorry, are you offering pirated shows on this fucking broadcast?
I'm just saying. And
what are we gonna do when we launch our VIP series? Cooking with Barry lad. If I find that up on XWT, I'll be furious.
And also, Dean Ambrose was on The Art of Wrestling podcast.
Oh, I've been meaning to download that. Yes, I'm not really arsed to Cole Cabana, but I like Dean Ambrose.
Well, it's the first one I've listened to, I think, since William Regal was on it. So, yeah, very, very good, very, very interesting. He's a very interesting person, Ambrose. So, give that a little recommendation too. And I'm just now listening to Steve Austin on the Wrestling Observer radio. So, good week for the old interviews. So,
yeah.
There you go. That's what I recommend people listen to this week if they've not already. Get on it. So.
All right. Okay, so with that in mind, do we want to
I've got a
jump in?
quiz.
What?
What?
Swerve.
We've got a Royal Rumble swerve.
Yes, I have a Royal Rumble themed quiz.
And coming in at number 30, it's a quiz! Woo!
We already obviously did one a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I think we've done them before. And usually we do the whole, who was number 1, who's number 30, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Tried to think of something a little bit different.
But didn't bother?
What?
But didn't bother?
No, I did. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a list of wrestlers who were all eliminated by the same person.
Okay.
And I want you to guess from that list who the person is I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I'll give you the list. If you can't get it, I'll also give you the year for a point less. And if you still don't get it, I'll pass it over to your opponent. Okay?
Alright.
So who wants to go first?
Paul can go first. I went
Okay,
first.
I'll
last
go
time, I
first. I'll go first.
Paul, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The list. Dolph Ziggler, Evan Bourne, JTG,
think. I know this one already.
Beth Phoenix, Zack Ryder.
Oh God.
Easy one. Easy one.
Well, you say that, Barry, but I don't rewatch these Royal Rumbles or know much about it.
What do you mean you don't watch
I remember.
these
Oh,
videos?
hang on now. Beth
He's
Phoenix.
staying up and taking a day off work on Monday, but
To have a wank.
I remember Beth Phoenix was in the Rumble, alright, and she eliminated the Great Khali herself. But who eliminated her then? Hang on. Let me think here for a second.
Well, that's the question.
That is the question. Yeah. God. So this would have been. They eliminated Dolph Ziggler, Evan Bourne. No, you don't have to read it out. I'm just thinking aloud.
JTG, Beth Phoenix,
Zack
Zack
Ryder.
Ryder.
Yeah. Let's say Chris Jericho.
That is incorrect. I'll give you the year. It was 2010.
Yeah.
Does that jog your memory at all? Or?
No.
Okay, Barry, over to you for 1 point.
CM Punk.
That is correct.
Okay.
He did the whole gimmick with the microphone and trying to recruit people.
Okay.
Okay, so Barry's turn. Next
Yep.
one. Okay, the list is Golga, Ken Shamrock, Billy Gunn, Test, the Big Boss Man, Triple H, Owen Hart, and Chyna.
Two names jump out at me, but I will just say Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, hell yeah!
I knew that one, funnily enough.
Yeah, that's 2 points for Barry. That was, of course, 1999
Yeah.
when he was feuding with the corporation. And,
I remember when you said Golga, I was like, oh, God. He was atrocious. Wasn't that Bastion Booger? wasn't
no,
it?
it was Earthquake.
Oh, it was Earthquake, that's what I meant. Sorry, not Bastion Booger. John Tenta, yeah.
Okay,
Eesh.
back to you, Paul.
Okay, come on. Here we go,
Next
here we go.
list.
Here we go.
Scott Steiner,
Uh-huh.
Quang,
Okay.
Owen Hart, Bart Gunn, Bob Backlund, Billy Gunn, and Virgil.
Okay, this would have been... What year? Probably 94 or 5. Let's say Shawn Michaels.
No, I'll give you the year. The year was 94.
Bret Hart.
No, Barry, over to you for 1 point.
British Bulldog.
No, it was Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
Of course,
Because
yeah, of
famously
course.
threw out a bunch of guys. No Rumble. So no points for anyone there.
Okay.
Back to you, Barry. Okay. Greg Valentine, Smash, Crush, Earthquake, Brian Knobs, The Warlord, and Tugboat.
Hulk Hogan.
That's correct for 2 points.
Oh, for God's sake.
That was also a bit of an easy one.
Yeah,
Luck of the draw.
it is. Yeah, I know it's like a draw. But I knew the two Barry got because everyone's seen the Warlord clip with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
But to be fair, it's
that
also
wasn't even the same
look
one.
if it's like 6 names from the era of Greg Valentine, it's obviously Hogan.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, who else? Who else?
Oh,
would
I
have
didn't
had
know. I didn't know until he said the Warlord.
Well, right, fair enough.
Okay, next one, Paul.
Right.
Sheamus, Damien Sandow, Randy Orton, The Miz, and Sin Cara.
Right, this would have been very recently then.
I think I know. I'm not sure.
Sin Cara. Hang on, I'm being sent a picture. I'm not cheating. What is this? Someone sent me it. Aye, Matt has signed a deal. It's gone through. It's official. Okay, good. So that's official, Joe. Matt has got a little United shirt on there. I'll send Joe the picture.
Look at now, 7,000 retweets already.
Yeah, there he is there. So Sin Cara. Who else? Sin Cara, David Sandow, The Miz,
Randy
Sheamus.
Orton and Sin Cara.
Randy Orton, and Sin Cara. So it would be a big name to eliminate Randy Orton. And Sin Cara's not been around too long, so that would be quite recently. John Cena?
No. I'll give you the year. It's 2013, so it was the most recent one.
Just the most recent one. Who eliminated a lot in the most recent one?
Wait, does he get another guess?
Yeah, he gives us
He
the
gets
year.
one more guess for 1 point. and
Oh,
then
yeah,
over
sorry,
to
my
you.
bad.
Okay.
I know who it is, I think.
Everything here. 2013, which was won by John Cena, which is why that was my guess. But who eliminated the most people that year? I probably just asked this question to somebody last week and I've already forgotten. Most eliminations. Let me think. Oh God, Ryback?
That's correct, Paul, for 1 point.
Yeah.
That was easy.
Of course, he was runner-up. Okay, back to you, Barry. And it's just the final one. Oh yeah, so it's the final one.
All right.
Oh, wait.
I need
Oh
him
wait,
to.
so Paul can't win anyway.
I can't. Well, I can't win, but I can tie it up if he doesn't get it.
Yeah. So I had a bonus one as well. So, okay. Shawn Michaels, MVP, The Great Khali.
And The Undertaker.
That is correct, Barry, for 2 points. That was 2007. Undertaker won. Okay, so Barry wins. 7 points to 1. Quite the
I
job.
knew all his ones though, so I should get points for those too.
And then my fucking hole, should you?
I'll do the last one.
I also, for the record, I knew Ryback. For the record, that was easy.
Yeah, well, this is the last one, and the last one, as we all know, is worth 89 points. So come on, Joe, give it to us.
All right, whoever shouts it.
And I do have a kettle here if it needs to be thrown to decide this at the end.
Thrown over the TSP studio.
Okay, Mick Foley,
Yeah.
Santino,
Triple H.
The Great Khali, Booker T,
Triple
Jerry
H.
Lawler, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh, I'm wrong. Sorry.
Give it to us again. Give us the names.
Mick Foley, Santino, The Great Khali, Booker T, Jerry Lawler, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh.
Dolph Ziggler.
Uh,
Wade Barrett.
This would have been, God, because I watched the clip of Jerry Lawler. This was the year where they had all the commentary team in it.
John Cena.
no.
Randy
Oh,
Orton.
Good.
Do you want the year?
Yeah.
What was it,
2012.
2012?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. God.
Did I say Dolph Ziggler today?
Who would have?
I have no clue at all.
Hang on.
This one.
No. We can
Oh,
get this between us, Barry.
Chris Jericho.
No.
Sheamus. Alberto Del Rio.
New.
Did we say The Miz?
New.
Hang on, 2012. Who was a big? It was clearly a heel then who eliminated Jerry Lawler. So who would have been?
Well, I remember Jericho had the huge run in 2012, from like beginning to end almost.
Yeah.
CM Punk.
New.
He would have been face anyway. I don't know what I'm talking about. Fuck, I don't remember. Big Show.
No.
Kane.
Ziggler. Did we say Ziggler?
I said Ziggler. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, you get one more guess each.
Okay.
Well, hang on. Who was a heel back in 2012?
A big enough heel to eliminate all of them. That's why I guessed Ziggler.
Did we say Barrett?
I said Barrett. Yeah.
Okay.
God, who else was there?
Cody Rhodes?
Yes!
Hey!
Well done,
Okay,
good one.
brilliant. I was trying to think who was a big heel. Well, not a big heel, but a Wade Barrett level heel back then. Okay, Cody Rhodes.
That was a tricky one.
How many did he eliminate that year?
6. A couple of those
Jesus.
were like joint.
Yeah, I know. I remember this. I remember the big Cody Rhodes run. Yeah.
But yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, he had a big.
Because of course, Cody was feuding with Booker T. Of course. Yeah. Good times. Well, there you go.
Nice.
Good quiz. That was fun.
Yeah.
Got you warmed up for the old Royal Rumble.
The old Royal Rumble.
Another win for Barry Lad.
Yeah. In a way, I won, but technically and
Oh,
in
sorry. Yeah, I forgot.
actuality,
You have 89 point bonus question.
No, I concede gracious defeat to Barry. He was much better than I was.
Thank you.
I find a lot of with these quizzes, and I don't want to criticize Joe, but a lot of the problem is my inability to answer any of the questions correctly.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Oh, so he's out to get you, basically.
Yeah, unless we have unlimited guesses, in which case I can sort of work it out in the end. But yeah, oh well. Jesus,
Right.
David Moyes' eyes are just weird cavernous eyes. Anyway, what are we talking about? Raw.
Telly, I guess.
Yeah. Did we all watch Raw this week?
I did.
A lot of people were giving out about the ending. I thought it was quite fun. I quite liked the ending. You didn't enjoy it?
No. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand why they never explained why John Cena was walking in during the overrun.
I know.
That was
That's
not on the
true.
rest of the show, so that was stupid. They did the Kofi rematch, and that didn't have a finish. But whatever, these are all minor things. Like whatever. I just thought it was a very vanilla brawl.
To me, it elicited feelings of the good old days, the old brawling in the crowd. And I tell you,
The good old days when Triple H would injure Austin, and so Austin would show up 5 minutes after the show was supposed to finish, and fight Triple H into the crowd in a very boring way.
Yes.
And then when Triple H escaped, Steve Austin would start high-fiving kids in the audience and taking pictures with them before we fade to black. Those good old days.
I tell you, I was actually thinking of this weeks in the last like 3 weeks, but I keep forgetting to bring it up on the show. And it's not necessarily to do with this. In a way, it is. But
Okay.
a wrestling trope that does not get used anymore, that I think is quite effective. I don't understand why they don't use it anymore. Is the star arriving at the arena during the show?
Yeah.
Like the limo pulls up and the camera, pans in along, and the door opens and the foot steps out, and it's just
They've done that since The Rock.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I was going to say, The Rock was never on time.
Well, they did it at that time when it was a woman's foot that came out when they were announcing the guest host for WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
What was that about? But yeah, the car would show up and the camera would pull and the door would open, and sometimes it would be Vince McMahon, and it's such an easy way to get like a cheap pop or a boo, and then it sets you up for further segments that the crowd know Vince McMahon has arrived in this big limo, and the crowd get into it. I just feel
Such a classic that it's even immortalized in EWR. Talent arriving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know why they don't use it anymore. It's such an easy way to get the crowd either hot or booing. Get the crowd hot either way. Whether it's the big babyface star has arrived, he's at the arena. Like, it wouldn't even be with a limo. Sometimes they would just cut backstage to The Rock opening the door and walking in with his bag or whatever. It's like, The Rock are here! And they just don't do it anymore.
No, they're too busy filming skits in absurdly bright rooms, all facing the camera.
Yeah. Lit like a porno set.
Yeah.
With,
God.
yeah.
How do you film that like a car? Have the car drive at the camera and then, how do you do that? Anyway, what else happened?
But anyways, yeah, so John Cena, for no apparent reason. And this is something that reminded me of, I think it was the Brock Lesnar Undertaker. Or possibly Undertaker Triple H. I can't remember which it was exactly. Undertaker was feuding with somebody. And they did something to piss him off really bad. So the next show opened with Undertaker waiting in the parking lot with the biker chain, waiting for. So why was John Cena not there waiting for Randy Orton to get his revenge? Why did he show up 3 hours late?
Yeah, I think Undertaker did that a couple times actually. Yeah, that's something I don't think I've seen in ages. I think Del Rio did it to Big Show or the other way around. One of them.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
I can't remember which way it went. But yeah, that's a good thing they could have done as well. It just
He should have cut a promo from his father's deathbed.
Yeah.
And then started running to the arena.
And then his father's like, say avenge me, John. And Cena runs to the arena straight.
Oh god.
I hope Cena doesn't cut some promo at the Rumble where he's like, the reason I was late was because Randy Orton cut my brakes. Or something stupid like that.
But who was driving the minivan that Orton escaped in?
I'd like if John Cena, if they recorded a little app vignette or something where John Cena comes out of his hotel and finds his car has been crushed into a cube or something like that.
You have 30 minutes to move your cube.
You better start running, John.
So he just shows up running. Why'd they have the camera set up in like the parking lot?
Yeah, it was there all night.
Yeah, think of the cost of running.
Brock Lesnar also walked.
Couldn't they have just called him and said, "Alright, John, how far away from the arena are you?"
Yeah.
What, 10 minutes or?
I'm not going to tell you because maybe he was just waiting around the corner for the whole show for the dramatic effect when he finally ran in.
Oh yeah.
Also, can I just, not to be too, politically incorrect.
Oh god.
But John Cena does run a bit like a retard.
Oh.
Oh, how could that be construed as politically incorrect? He's nearly 40 and he's banged up to shit.
He built like a wardrobe.
He has a very strange gait when he runs. It's not normal.
He's very strange gay. That's also offensive.
He is a strange gay, John Cena. So he
His
ran.
new shirt is hideous, by the way. That's why he's so late. People kept trying to ram him off the road when they saw that shirt.
Yeah, he's got this new black and neon coloured
hideous
monstrosity. So he ran out very funnily. Sort of reminded me of the last episode of Derek in a way. But anyway, he ran out. He has this
Randy Orton beat up Derek's dad.
He has this clumsy brawl with Orton.
After losing to Kev.
They fight their way up, and Orton escapes. He runs into the getaway car, and away he goes into the night. Yeah. I think they should have cut it there. It was a little bit like the movie Prisoners. They let it go a little too long.
I agree. I would. It would have been better if they cut it there. Yeah,
cut it there with John Cena looking out into the night after Cena going,
"Damn it, I'm going to get you at the Rumble. At the Rumble, you can't get away, Orton."
Rather than he goes back into the arena, his music plays, and he's posing and high-fiving fans. I mean, do we need that extra minute at the end?
No, I'm sick of this feud.
Yeah.
You know.
What else happened on this show?
Daniel Bryan explained that he was.
Batista returned. Of course.
Oh yeah, that happened. Yeah. So.
Underwhelming.
That was the most important. The most important bit of this show was would he do the machine gun entrance or would he do the spotlight entrance?
And he actually did both.
We got both. It's the best. I've watched his entrance about 38 times now because it's so good.
Yeah.
He did that and the spotlight, and he did a little swaying thing when he first came out, and his legs are all small because his jeans are so tight.
Yeah. I mean, that was the other redeeming factor about this comeback was that his outfit was ridiculous. He was wearing like this sort of top that sort of, it looked like it's the type of thing Justin Bieber would wear, not only in terms of style but also in terms of size. His chest was just like bursting out of it.
He was wearing Eve Torres's jeans.
Yeah, he's exactly. I was about to say he was wearing, like, he obviously woke up like on the wrong side of Eva Marie's bed and just grabbed her jeans before coming to this taping. Like, he looked preposterous. He also had a fucking nose stud in because he's Batista. Like, he looked absolutely ridiculous.
I think it pretty much confirms what he had been saying before he last left, where he was asked about, like, how do they sort out those clothes for him? And he's just like, well, they're my clothes.
They're my clothes, yeah.
So he comes out looking completely ridiculous. But I think that's part of the Batista charm now.
So he came out, and he was a face, and the Authority welcomed him, and Orton came out first, actually, when they were introducing Batista, and he got all sour. So Batista came out, and Batista cut a version of a promo that I imagine he probably cut in the locker room a couple of weeks ago. And he said, I'm coming back to headline WrestleMania, you can deal with it.
Yeah.
So that was amusing, and then he came back out later on the show, and he laid out Alberto Del Rio. So I thought they were going to maybe build to a match, or he would throw him out of the Rumble. Probably still will throw him out of the Rumble, but they actually did an angle here where he beat the shit out of him. So
The thing that I didn't like in this was that Batista came out and was hugging Stephanie and Triple H.
Yeah.
We've talked about in the last few weeks that Stephanie and Triple H are too willing to just go back and forth between being overtly heels and faces.
I think the gimmick is that they are heels, but they try to pretend they're faces. Like,
I get what you mean. The sort of sanctimonious.
Yeah, you're supposed to be annoyed at their insincerity, but I just don't think it translates very well because it's not like they get universally booed or anything.
But they also
unless
they're
they're beating up Daniel Bryan.
They don't do it in a clear enough way that it's supposed to be, fake.
Yeah.
Like for all appearances, they were very excited to see Batista, very happy to see him. They hugged Batista and they just left.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
So,
I don't know.
So, by the way, we should have mentioned TNA, but Raw also did a gigantic rating this week.
Yeah, really big. Well, for the first half of it.
Yeah, largely, entirely due to Batista. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't like the way they brought him out either. I thought they should have not left it later in the show, but maybe surprise the fans a bit for when he comes
him
out.
show up in a limo, maybe
Something like that. But Triple H was just, here he is, here's the guy, it's Batista. It's a little bit like Triple H wanting to get to be involved in the moment too much, trying to insert himself.
That was silly. Yeah. Also, do you remember on that show? First of all, it was ridiculous that the Authority were out there, but Randy Orton comes out ahead of Batista, and Stephanie starts chastising him because he's a disgrace to the title because he beat up an old man and he's a whiner and all this. And she said, "You are embarrassing us as we lead up to the launch of the most revolutionary thing this company has ever done. When we go over the top on February 24th with the launch of the WWE Network, available with a free trial for just $9.99 a month with a 6-month commitment.
For all the members of the WWE Universe around the world."
She did an impromptu network ad in the middle of this promo where she was chastising Randy Orton. It was terrible.
I don't like that they were chastising him at all as well, because
that's the other thing as well. Yeah, Randy Orton seems to be at odds with them all the time now.
Yeah, I mean it comes into continuity, like how long are wrestling fans' memories. But Triple H has done much worse things than Randy Orton did last week. He was going to hit Lita with a sledgehammer.
They also chastised Kane for being an executive who put his hands on a wrestler, which is a preposterous thing to chastise someone for in WWE.
Well, given the Triple H just did at SummerSlam.
Yeah, he always beats people up.
So dumb.
He's beaten up more men than fucking Zeus during the entire span of Greek mythology.
Did Zeus have a reputation for being a bit of a...
Well, he's a bit of a twat.
Bit of a yo boy.
I thought you meant Tony Lister.
No, he didn't say get guppy up. He did beat up. Yeah, Daniel Bryan had a plan. He came out and
he explained it. Yeah, it's the usual wrestling thing of I was willing to take the beating to outsmart them in the end. You know.
Yeah. So
whatever.
Yeah.
He's facing Bray Wyatt at the Rumble. So there you go.
Big Show and Lesnar had their little segment. Brock Lesnar, of course, took a little bump onto his own head.
Yeah, of course.
It wouldn't be a Brock Lesnar segment without a bump onto his head.
He Big Show tossed him over the top rope onto the apron, and then Lesnar did another revolution before he hit the mat. It was great.
Brock Lesnar is so good.
Yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward to that match, I must say.
I think it'll be a good match. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Hopefully, not Big Show getting too much offense. Hopefully, mostly Brock. If they know what's good for him. I want to see Brock Lesnar press slam the Big Show into the crowd. and the crowd just crumple under the Big Show. That'd be pretty funny. Get a few of those NXT guys to take a bump under the Big Show. Or what they could do is break the ring like they did with Big Show and Mark Henry, and then that would make the Royal Rumble more interesting because the top rope is like a foot off the ground.
Yeah, the top rope basically just fall off the ring.
Which was it? They did that. They did Big Show and Mark Henry, where they broke the ring, and then they had the main event between like Cena and Del Rio or something.
Yeah, that was
With just no ropes. And that was fun, you know.
It was actually it was pretty interesting. Made for a fun end to the show. Yeah.
And that's pretty much all that happened on the show. There was a few bits and bobs here and there, but nothing too interesting that we need to cover. CM Punk beat Billy Gunn.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Don't you know? So,
New Age Outlaws are facing.
Billy Gunn's 50. I didn't realise he was that old.
yeah,
The Outlaws are challenging for the titles on the pre-show.
yeah, against Road Dust.
Yeah. I don't think there was much else of note. Well, what did the Shield do on this show? Oh, they faced the Rhodes.
And Big
The
E.
Rhodeses and Big E. Yeah, that was a good match.
Yeah, pretty good. But then whenever you have the Shield and Cody Rhodes and Goldust, you're bound to have a good match, you know.
Yeah.
Funny enough, they beat Big E, which Seth Rollins pinned Big E Langston, which was an interesting way to take. Like that.
Yeah.
And that Superman punch.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit.
Roman Reigns is great. I think it'd be interesting to see what the Shield do in the Rumble.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I imagine Roman Reigns is going to have quite a showing. The thing with Roman...
He'd be the strong pick for the fella who's in for like 50 minutes.
I don't know whether they'll have him be in for that long, or whether
I
they'll
think
have...
it'd be more of a diesel.
What, like an Impact player, but not necessarily a marathon man? Yeah.
He'll throw out the smoking guns and Quang.
Which today would be like
Primetime players.
Primetime players and
Sin Cara.
Sin Cara, Randy Orton. So,
Quang. Who thought that was a good name for a wrestler, by the way? Quang.
Shredder! Oh. Quang! The turtles have foiled my plan again.
So that's all that happened on Raw.
Yeah,
Really?
boring.
I thought the ending was a fun little brawl. I mean, it wasn't done particularly well, but I didn't mind it anyway. It was sort of like a John Cena match in a way. It wasn't done particularly well, but I still added first enjoyment out of it.
So there you go, that was Raw.
What about Impact?
Oh, Impact
what?
was amazing this week.
Impact! Woo!
I watched it.
How
I watched it. It was a mess. Yeah, it was basically it was Genesis Part 2.
An authority angle. Yeah.
Someone talk about Impact.
They kicked off an authority angle.
Oh yeah, the shareholder.
Continued the new investor thing. There was this hokey lawyer who was there explaining that somehow the investor now had control over matches as well, despite no one knowing who it was.
Only in TNA could that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those
Magnus-
tacky, like, cliche-ridden angles.
So Magnus made the main event no disqualification, no counts out against Sting. There was a briefcase on a pole match between Gunner and James Storm.
Yep.
Which ended with one of my favourite finishes where they get the briefcase down, but it doesn't count until they actually pick it up with both hands. You know the fumble rule. Yes. God, that's shit. So Gunner kept his title shot.
It really annoys me when wrestling companies do that. They're completely unclear as to what the rules are, and the reason they're unclear is because they'll just change them on a whim based on their current situation. Like, what do we want to do this week versus what we want to do in a month's time, you know?
Sabin and Aries had a match with Velvet Sky in a cage ringside. They actually had a video of her where Saban had sent her some gifts, which included a big lead dildo that she
Yeah.
was supposed to bring to ringside. But it
That was
turned out she
quite-
didn't have it.
Quite jarring to see.
I saw that video on their YouTube with Velvet Sky looked a little.
Where she just rolled out of bed and filmed it on her webcam.
Yeah. I don't know what. I don't know whether she's had some work done on her face, but she's looking a little bit more angular than she used to have, like quite soft features, but now it's quite
Yeah.
pointy looking. So, by the way, we didn't mention it, but what happened to Batista's head? Looks like a different person now. It's all bloated and weird looking.
It's missing hair. I mean,
No, but he's definitely had some surgery on it for sure. He used to have
well,
these
that's
weird.
definitely you don't know that.
His head looks. He looks like a completely different person. His head. He used to have these sort of owl eyes, where they were sort of. He'd have like these rings around his eyes. It's like as if his whole head, like he got a facelift or something. His eyebrows are pointing up now. He's completely different. It's very like I'm not having a go. He looks good for someone his age and who's
Well,
torn
yeah,
as
'cause
as
he's
many
had a
muscles
facelift.
as he has. But he's a bit weird looking. His face looks like bloated, like a bloated face, like someone who's had work done on it. Velvet Sky is
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, I also saw the ending to the show. I don't want to get ahead of you guys, but I watched on their YouTube channel. I watched the Bromans interview. And those guys are so great. I thought it was a below average Broman segment, but it was still quite fun. And they're the best acting wrestling, better than Shield. I revoke my best team of the year vote for the Bromans.
Yeah, Saban and Aries had a match. Aries won in like 5 minutes. Won
Yeah.
the belt. And then
Okay.
that was it. There was a Wolves video package.
Oh, this is shite.
It was really bad, wasn't it? No, this was terrible. Eddie Edwards' head. He looks like a Muppet.
They can't talk in this kind of context. They can't really talk very much at all. But not in this kind of way.
They would have had a better job of interviewing them just with this high-hitting, high-impact match, rather than the two disastrous talking segments where they dress like librarians. I don't know. They were standing in some sort of cage for this one. I don't know where they were. What was happening? Yeah.
But anyway, that happened.
Anyway.
Kurt Angle beat Bobby Roode in a cage match. It was your typical Kurt Angle cage match.
Yeah, I'm getting sick of these.
He
I
did
don't
the
need to see it.
moonsault.
He did
There
the
was a bit where Bobby
moonsault.
Roode was like lying on the stairs. Literally, he only needed to wiggle one leg. To get out. And Kurt Angle ran over and pulled him back in. He was,
Oh
like-
dear.
he was halfway up the ramp.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's Joe beat Rockstar Spud. He had a funny.
That was
promo
mental.
with,
So Joe is like, I'm going to be allowed to be in the corner of Sting for the main event. And Dixie Carter was like, we'll see about that. I'm going to put him in a match. I'm going to put him against you, Spud, who's like 2 foot tall and 110 pounds soaking wet. So I don't know. I think it's an in joke. Like the point is that Dixie is stupid. Like that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, same at the main event. Magnus ended up winning after a whole load of run-ins from the heels and the faces as well this time.
Yeah, big fucking mess.
So Sting doesn't get a new contract.
There was no heat for it though, unlike the AJ one, where at least people were into it.
I also counted here, by the way, and Magnus hit Sting with the Michinoku driver. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how long he had Sting pinned for until Earl Hebner came down and counted the 3?
37 seconds.
Not too far away, Joe. 29 seconds.
Oh God.
had him
And it
pinned.
looked terrible anyway.
I counted. Yeah. It was like that SmackDown where the referee took a 5-minute bump off being pulled out of the ring by Vince McMahon. Sting was pinned for 29 seconds with a Michinoku driver. I'd hate to see him go against Undertaker.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be required to kick out of like at least 6 tombstones.
I think we'd have to pin him a year in advance for him to kick out.
There you go. So that was Impact.
That was Impact. I didn't really enjoy it.
Oh my god! Oh, sorry, listeners. Joe has just sent me one of the most frightening pictures I've ever seen.
Let me see. Alright, I got.
We're gonna have to put this on Twitter or something.
Yeah.
It's not right. Is this a screenshot from Planet of the Apes or?
Planet of the Monkeys.
Oh my god.
By the way, did you guys see those pictures of Daniel Bryan's engagement?
Possibly. Is this him dressed as an Amish man?
No,
Yeah.
he was Mumford and Danielson.
Yeah.
He didn't have a banjo though.
They're weird people. Weird people.
Fair play to them.
Yeah, but I guess.
Oh my god, what the
I
fuck
also
is
watched-
that? How old is that guy? The hot young acquisition by fucking what's their team?
Got
Got more fucking crow's feet than that Hitchcock film.
Strangers on a Train.
Wait, which one is the manager? Oh wait, okay, so yeah. I couldn't figure out which one was the manager and which one was the player.
It's the same person, Barry.
Oh!
Oh my god.
I thought it was two. Okay, fair enough. Wow, that took way too long to fix. Okay, fair enough.
No, the real one about is a very, very sexy man.
Oh.
So what are we talking about?
That took way too long to click.
What are we talking about?
We were just done talking about how Impact was boring and stupid.
Batista's head.
Oh, I also watched
yeah.
a Bad News Barrett interview from after SmackDown.
Bad news.
Yeah, he came out during a Miz match and was like, "I got very bad news," about how the Miz was awful and the Miz won his match in like 11 seconds or something. And I just thought, remember the Miz?
No.
He's not been on Raw in a while. The Miz. So he'll probably be in the Royal Rumble.
I once had an argument with someone on a wrestling Facebook page when Daniel Bryan debuted and he was made the Miz's apprentice on NXT.
Rookie.
Yeah, the rookie on NXT, and people were all sort of joking about it. And this one guy was like, "Well, Miz is 100 times better than Daniel Bryan will ever be." Then I got really angry and was like, "Oh, Daniel Bryan would be a much bigger star. Miz will be gone in a year," and blah blah blah. And I just wish I could track that guy down and tell him how right I was.
Why do you feel the need to argue with the idiots, Joe?
He's probably like thinking now that the Miz is this great underdog, and it sickens me that WWE pushes Daniel Bryan.
Although I tweeted someone from the ChairShot Podcast Twitter the other day, just simply die.
Wasn't it just a spam account?
Yeah, it was. I have it here. Oh, their message is gone. It was something like, I'll send you photos, add me at this account. I was like,
David.
I don't remember the name. Oh, we've got some really good stuff on the ChairShot Podcast Twitter that Joe's been doing. An elimination heat map. We are now.
Yeah, I jokingly asked
Joe
for a
did.
map, and Joe did it. Thank you.
I was going to watch it anyway, and as it was so boring, I thought I would entertain myself.
So what is this representing, Joe? Can you explain to people who are seeing this?
It's where from the ring people were eliminated.
Okay. And I suppose the bottom is the nearest.
It's it's the camera perspective. So the left-hand side is the ramp, right-hand side is the announce table.
Okay, that's interesting for sure.
So most people ended up going straight back out onto the ramp.
Yeah, weird. I like the entry number map you did earlier. That was great.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting to think that only 2 people between 10 and 20 have won the Royal.
Yeah, I think Scott pointed out is it's a better story if they go the whole way or come in as a surprise. But middle's a bit of a they get lost.
I guess.
Yeah, most people are straight looking at the numbers. They are mainly late numbers that win. So
Sure.
like they say, it's luck of the draw that matters.
It's all about the numbers.
It's
There you
all
go.
about the numbers.
So the Royal Rumble is this Sunday.
Yep.
I can't believe I'm the only one watching it live. That's mad. Because I'm
I'll be
normally the one
watching
who
it live. I'll be watching it
doesn't.
live.
Oh, despite college.
Yeah, fuck it.
Ah, you're doing it right, Barry. Good lad. Okay, let's go through the card here. We have Cody Rhodes and Old Dust. See what I did there? Against the Old Age Outlaws. Old Dog and Billy.
An old ass Billy Gunn. A bad old Billy Bold.
Bad hip Billy Gunn. And
Bad Billy Bollocks.
that is for
Down to his knees.
that is for the tag team titles. I don't imagine New Age Outlaws winning. I don't
No,
imagine
that'd
them being
be-
around that much longer.
That would be a huge mistake.
Why did
but
they
like-
turn them heel? What's the point of this whole
Yeah, that
story?
was stupid because they're still doing their intro and still being old and still being from the Attitude Era. So people, I imagine that match probably won't have very much heat. Which is,
I just don't feel like they have much longevity. The New
Well,
Age
they definitely
Outlaws.
no.
Being, their current run.
If they were faces, I would think that match might actually be pretty fun. But,
Just a weird heel turn. I don't understand what the thought process was behind any of this. In any case, Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt in a singles match.
I think
Should be-
if
should
Brian
be
is a surprise, if Brian is a surprise in the Rumble, and if he's winning, which I don't think he is, they'll probably beat him here because that's their logic. If you're about to turn or win something or be elevated, you lose to your current peer usually because their logic is that it won't be remembered that you lost if you do something big, which is stupid. It's not true, but whatever.
I can see them giving Bryan the win here.
Yeah, I think he needs it.
Big Show Brock Lesnar, which I'm actually quite intrigued by, as we spoke.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be as great as it was before, but I think it'll probably be good.
I think
But
Brock's,
it could potentially be the sleeper hit of the whole evening. I think.
yeah, I don't think it'll even be as good as Brock's matches since he came back. I think it'll probably be the worst of the bunch. But I'm not expecting a Brock Lesnar CM Punk level match out of it. But anytime you see Brock is a special occasion.
Yeah.
Brock's he's a big deal. Randy Orton, John Cena for the 900th time on pay-per-view.
In a match.
In a singles match where the winner can win only by pinfall or submission, which means it's a no DQ match. But we're not going to do any fun no DQ stuff. It's going to be a straight match. But we're trying to convey that there's not going to be any shenanigans or interference. So we're saying that they can only win by pinfall or submission. So it's just a match. Boring. And that's the stipulation. Yeah, I don't really care either. I think
The winner of this match will seemingly shape WrestleMania, though.
I think Orton's going to win it.
Yeah. If that's true, I think Cena's having Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, which is
Sad. Not as sad though as Cena winning and still having Bray Wyatt before
Yeah.
before the title.
Yeah. And then we have the Royal Rumble
Yeah.
with 20 confirmed entrants, I believe.
I don't know. Possibly.
Basically everyone except Bad News Barrett and Bryan. And
Okay.
Bray Wyatt is confirmed. He's confirmed for not in it. So any guesses for surprises?
Ken Shamrock.
He's been on the phone to Vince McMahon, or at least trying to tweet him.
Scott Steiner.
I would not say Hulk Hogan on the basis that there's no way he can go over the rope and not die. So
Vladimir Kozlov.
Yeah.
D'Lo Brown.
I'd like it
X-Pac.
more to be these sort of callbacks. Not people who do old school Raw, for example, but
not Slaughter and not Duggan and not maybe Backlund.
They should have some attitude era people like New Age Outlaws or Gold Dust or Big Shot. Oh no, they're on the Undercard.
Or Triple H or The Rock.
Oh yeah. Undertaker.
Undertaker.
I tell you who I like to see in the Rumble. I'd like to see Kane come out in his Kane attire with his little hairdo he has now.
Yeah. I tell you what. I think he has missed 2 Rumbles where people speculated he would be back. I will pick, as a surprise entrant, Evan Bourne.
Oh my god.
I'll pick Evan Bourne. I think Christian will be in there.
Yeah, possibly Christian.
Who else? I will say yes to Jake the Snake.
I would love for a surprise entrant, and I think it would get a huge ovation, especially if the commentators are saying it as what? I would love for Vince McMahon to be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble.
That's not gonna happen.
I'm sick of Vince McMahon.
I love for him to come out with his little wrestling gear.
I prefer Shane McMahon.
Yeah, but he's like what, 800 pounds now.
No, I think
Isn't he a big fat man now?
No, he's
Okay.
grey. I don't
Maybe
think he's
he's
fat,
not.
is he?
Okay, I've not seen him since 2009 when he beat up Legacy on his own. So maybe he'd do well in the Royal Rumble. He'd probably eliminate 29 men on his own. Who else would be good? Otunga? Get Otunga back? Where's Otunga anyway? He's not been on since the last Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird one.
What's the situation with him?
They're just not using him. It's like Ezekiel Jackson. Well, Ezekiel Jackson's hurt. But yeah.
That's so weird that they don't use Otunga.
Wait, hang on. Is it really?
Yeah, not in terms of being a good wrestler, but he's married to a quite well-known Hollywood actress. He's a lawyer, Harvard-educated lawyer. It seems like he has a personality that they could use to their advantage.
And he was in the hit film The Call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also weird that they don't use Halle Berry.
Halle Berry, Halle Berry. Do you know that song, Barry? Halle Berry?
Nope.
By Hurricane Chris. Seems like your kind of music. Okay, never mind.
There's another Paul Griffin assumption about what my kind of music is. We didn't have one of them all show.
Oh, well, I like the song, Barry. I'm not saying that you like bad music. It's a song that I like. I just assume it's the kind of music you would like.
I always assume when you say things like that you're looking down your nose at me.
It's a hip hop song.
Alright, I'll check it out.
It is.
Hang on, wait a second. I think I know that. Hang on.
Hurricane Chris. Yeah.
I believe you showed me this song before and I hated it.
Well, that's a shame because I love it. It is a so bad it's good song, but it's
yes,
fantastic.
this rings a bell. Yeah, it rings a bell. I remember this. Yeah.
Halle Berry, same guy who did A Baby. A Baby. A Baby.
Yeah, you're not selling me. You're not selling me.
Well.
So let's go on the record here. We all need to pick a winner. I'm picking Batista.
I'll say Brock is gonna win the Royal Rumble.
Bryan Danielson.
Well, Bryan Danielson's not the name of a wrestler, Joe, so that's a void pick. And even if Daniel Bryan wins, you're
You
wrong.
are disqualified from the comp.
Yeah. There you go.
So there you go, folks. I'll be tweeting along at the Barry Lad. Paul, will you be tweeting? Well, you're socialising, so I imagine you'll have your phone nearby at least.
I don't know, possibly.
To the
If something exciting happens, I'll go, oh my God, it's Kevin Nash, or whatever. But otherwise, no. It's Sting.
What a place for Sting to debut in the Rumble, getting tossed out by Bad News Barrett. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it as always. Remember, ChairShotPodcast.com is your home for everything CSP. It's where you can go for our episode archive. It's where you can go for this episode and the previous episodes and all that jazz. It's where you can go to contact us by clicking on the email us button. Go there, little area where you can fill out your email, what you want to ask us, and you can pick which host you want to send it to and all. So that's great. You can also follow us at ChairShot Pod on Twitter, at The Barry Lad for me, at Paul Griffin CSP for Paul, and at Griff Tannen for Joe. And yeah, I think that's all we got to plug for this week. So next week we'll be back with Barry's first week back at college, a Royal Rumble review, more films, more Mama. Sorry, my nose is all stuffed. I can't really make that distinction. Mama. More tossed salad and scrambled eggs. More everything you've come to love from the show.
What? Just one closing thought.
Go on.
How good would it be if WWE actually went out, spent some money, and got a high-profile Hollywood celebrity to do a Royal Rumble entry? By God, it's Jennifer Lawrence! She's so relatable! It'd be all over the websites, all over TMZ.
And then she'll just be like, I didn't even know the rules. God, because isn't wrestling weird?
No,
I don't know why I talk like Cletus.
If they got someone like Hugh Jackman or someone to to be in the Royal Rumble.
Or Robert Scherzinger following his great promo.
Scherzinger?
Anyway. We'll be
That
back
for
next
sure
week.
was a good singer.
We'll be talking all that jazz next week on the show, as well as your emails. Feel free to email us about whatever's on your mind, whatever's in the news, whatever you're watching. What did you watch this week, listeners? Get in touch. And yeah, so with that said, it is goodbye from me, Barry Murphy. Goodbye. It is goodbye from Mr. Joe Towner.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from Mr. Paul Griffin.
Yeah, see you. Fuck off. This podcast was brought to you by LoudySpeak.com.